Okay, we are now recording. So welcome to our orientation, and first of all, congratulations. Thank you all for being here. So I'm gonna get started right away with this presentation. So, all right, so you probably know who I am by now. I am Lizzy. I am the person who has been emailing you constantly about logistics and literally everything else under the sun. So our directors here are, we've got Nick Adder, Malin Singh, Yangshi Gu, and Caleb Gordon. I think that's all of us, right? Harini is our last coordinator. She couldn't be here tonight. But with that, here is a general overview of our program in more detail than we were able to give you in exactly 30 seconds during your audition. So, first of all, as I said, congratulations for being here, for being selected. We really liked all of your talks, and that is why you're here. So, an overview of today's orientation. This is going to be pretty quick, and also to tell you that everything that I'm saying here is also detailed on a document that is on the Yale Connect page. It's in a PDF. I highly recommend you read it because it lays out everything week by week, and it gives it in more detail and in your own time. And that's on Yale Connect in the documents folder. So today we are going to go through an overview of our mission, the talk structure, the preparation timeline, the communication structure, and then we're going to go into breakout rooms where you are going to meet your group and coordinators, finalize the talk schedule. And these are the two most important things we're doing today, are finalizing your talk schedule, so which month you are going to present in, and deciding on a final talk title. Those are the two things that we need to walk away from today having done. So a director and then one of us will be assigned to each of your groups. So first of all, here is our mission. I'm not going to read it out loud. This is accessible on our Yale Connect page. It's accessible on our website. But this is the mission statement of Yale Science Communication. This is what we're trying to do through all of our programs. For Science in the News, we aim to fulfill this mission by communicating science to an older adult lay audience. So we speak at local libraries and community centers. We are working to expand our set of venues, but for right now, we are speaking at these locations, which means that our audience has a median age of about 73, and they are all lovely people, and many of them are highly educated as well. So many of them have master's degrees, most have a college education, and that's typically the audience that we're hitting right now. However, just because somebody has a master's degree does not mean that they have a master's degree in what you are talking about. So we still try to aim our talks at like the lay public. So that's who we are, what we're doing, and who we're doing it for. So now the talk structure. So when you are done with this process, when you have completed it, you have your talk, this is what's going to happen every time you give it. So each talk has 3 speakers and 1 to 3 coordinators. Right now, every group has 1 coordinator, and we are expecting that some of you will get another coordinator. We're still working on that. People are still coming in saying they're interested, but all of you have at least 1. So when you get to the venue, the coordinator will introduce the talk and introduce the speakers. Then each speaker will present a 15-minute talk, and each of the 3 talks will be different, but they will have a unifying theme, and you saw your unifying theme in the email that I sent you. But you guys will determine exactly what that is, exactly what you're going to talk about and how you're going to talk about it, but your 3 talks will be connected in some grand way. So the final talk, that means, will be 45 minutes long, followed by 15 minutes of questions, totaling 1 hour per venue. And then you will give that 1 hour presentation 4 separate times at 4 different venues. So now this is going to be a lot of information, and this is where I would highly recommend you check that PDF, because that is going to have all of this information and more details, and it's not going to be presented in literally 2 minutes. So, but as an overview, so your preparation starts 6 weeks before your first talk. Oh, the other thing is your talks are given typically within a 2-week to 3-week period. We aim for 2 weeks. Sometimes we get over 3 weeks, but your 4 will be, hold on, I'm checking the chat. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Caleb. So yes, so you will start 6 weeks before that first talk. So your first date, 6 weeks before that, you will have your first meeting with your group. In this meeting, you will be brainstorming and fleshing out ideas. And then for 5 weeks before your first talk, you will come and you will have a prepared outline of your slides. Then 4 weeks before your first talk, you will have a completed rough draft of your slides. So this will be your first run through of everything that you want to be in your slides. Then your next meeting, 3 weeks before, you will have incorporated edits, and you will find ways to unify your talk with the other two speakers in your group. So really working on that unifying theme. This is also what we call a dry run, which is where the director assigned to your talk will also attend this meeting and provide more feedback from a fresh set of eyes. And that is leading up to 2 weeks before your first talk, which is your dress rehearsal. And by this dress rehearsal, we will have expected you to incorporate all feedback from all of your meetings and to have a final draft of your talk. So have everything ready, have it practiced, like really be ready, because this is a dress rehearsal. So all of the directors will be in attendance, and any YSC members as well. We will advertise it to our whole organization, and anybody who wants to come can come and give feedback. So you really want to have like pretty much your final draft by this point. So, oh, also this dress rehearsal, we thought it takes 2 hours. From experience, it does not. It takes 3. So just be ready. This will be the longest meeting of the year, and we'll have you schedule it for 3 hours. So then 1 week before your first talk will be just you guys making edits. So you'll incorporate all feedback from the dress rehearsal, and you'll prepare the final version of your talk. So that is the timeline for speakers. For coordinators, in that same amount of time, you'll be doing the administrative work of running this talk. So before your first talk, you will be scheduling a meeting time for your group. So you will be in charge of scheduling these meetings and making sure everybody's available and creating Zoom links, etc. So that will be your job. You will also reach out to your group, make sure everybody's available and ready at least a week before your talk, just to get everybody thinking. Because some of you will be presenting in June, so it's good to get everybody thinking again. And before this first meeting, so 6 weeks before, coordinators need to email the director in charge of their talk to schedule the dry run and the dress rehearsal, and this is important. So because we advertise the dress rehearsal to the entire YSC community, that needs to be done early. So those are your 2 big things that you need to do in during or before your first meeting. And then the other biggest thing, which is actually the biggest thing, is that you need to write an advertising blurb and send it to your director. So again, this is because we need to get that advertising blurb to our venues so that our venues can start advertising. So that needs to get done very quickly from when you start actually meeting as a group. So then 5 weeks before, you're scheduling a meeting, and basically you're just facilitating discussions and offering suggestions for edits. 4 weeks Same thing, you are scheduling the meeting and facilitating and offering edits and helping out your speakers however they need it. 3 weeks, you are confirming the dry run with your director, because this is your dry run week. So you will confirm that with your director before the dry run happens. And then again, facilitating the discussion, offering edits with the theme of unifying these talks. So they should be pretty much done at this point, just finding ways to knit them all together. And then at this point, the next important thing you need to do is fill in the handout to send to your director. We will tell you what that is. Basically, there's a lot of materials. We're still finalizing them because we have some edits to make from last year, but we will provide you with the handout template. We will provide you with the PowerPoint template. So don't worry about that. When we have them ready, we will send them to you. 2 weeks before your first talk, the coordinators are responsible for making the formatting edits. So you'll see in these, in the templates, that there are little things like there's a sidebar that like has an arrow showing which section you're on so the audience can keep track. As the coordinator, your job is to make sure little things like that are correct. Because let me tell you, that arrow is always, somebody always has a slide where that arrow is not in the right place. So coordinators, that is your job to make those formatting edits. Your job is also to make slides for the talk title, for the speaker introductions, and for the talk overview. And that's basically like introducing the talk as like generally. So before the speakers get into the nitty-gritty of what they're going to be talking about, you'll introduce like a slide or two just to get the audience primed for what they're about to hear. And then this session is your dress rehearsal. Again, unfortunately, 3 hours. And then 1 week before your first talk, again, administrative work. So you are stitching together your speakers' talks from 3 presentations into 1 presentation so that you can just click through. Then we ask you to confirm the Zoom information for your first talk, and you'll do this again for your other 3 venues. Just make sure you have all that Zoom information, make sure your entire group has that Zoom information, and then coordinate actually getting to the Zoom meeting. In normal times, this would be coordinating driving and like getting food, but in the day and age of Zoom, this is confirming the Zoom links and making sure everybody is there on time, 30 minutes before it starts. So again, these responsibilities are detailed in that document that is on Campus Groups for your reference. So, who should you ask if you have questions? If at any point in this entire process you have any questions at all, speakers, you should ask your coordinator. Coordinators, you should ask your director. And directors, you should ask me. So we will go up this chain, and then that kind of gives you guys the independence that you need and want to be able to work things out on your own. But I am always available as the backstop for anything that might go wrong. So you can always reach out to me as well. So now we are going to set up breakout rooms. So first of all, join the Slack. Nick has reposted that. I think there might be 1 person who doesn't have access to it yet. So join that Slack channel. And when we put you in these breakout rooms, you have 2 big tasks. You have to find months where you are all available, and you have to decide on your final talk title. So you guys all got that email from me that gave you a tentative talk title and our rationale for grouping you together in the groups you're in. So, but you guys have all the freedom in the world to talk about literally anything that you want to talk about. So using that email, that tentative talk title, that tentative reasoning as a guide, use that to develop a final talk title. Talk titles are typically, I should have written this down, but talk titles are typically in the format of like phrase, colon, more detailed phrase. So if somebody could put some of those examples in the chat, that would be very helpful. Yes, so we will set up these breakout rooms, and those are your tasks. So there are 6 groups. We should have done this earlier. Okay, who's in group 1? No one knows. It's fine. Can one of the directors tell me who's in group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc.? Because I can't minimize Zoom while I am recording.
Yeah, okay, so
the Google Doc, it doesn't need access.
working on that. Okay.
I know the title of my group, but I don't know what number it is.
I can do that, Nick, if you are looking up the access settings.
One sec.
We are a very organized organization. We know what we're doing.
Question.
Mhm.
So as far as I know, you told us that will be presented in the spring. So when it comes to finalize the day, the month, you know, what do you exactly look, what are you looking for?
Oh, okay. Yes, that's another thing. So we're gonna try to get it so that we have one talk per month. So the first one will be at the end of January, then February, March, April, May, and June. That's our goal. If for whatever reason we have logistical problems with that, we will revisit that and we will work it out in this meeting. But we're looking at the end of January, at some point in February, at some point in March, at some point in April, and at some point in June. Those are your options for the 2 weeks that you will be spending actually getting on different Zoom meetings and presenting to audiences.
Yeah, we have to coordinate with the libraries for that, so that's where the coordinators come in.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all should have access to the Google Doc now.
Sorry, just in terms of like finding out for the month, is there generally a scheduled time for what time these talks happen in general?
So most of our venues do the evening, like 6, 7. We have one venue who does 9 or 10 a.m. On a weekday, but that's one venue. Everybody else is in the evening at somewhere.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, so individual libraries have particular preferences typically about when they like to schedule some of these events. And so that's something that the coordinator typically negotiates with the libraries.
Directors do the schedule.
Sorry, that the directors do with the coordinate with the libraries.
Yes.
And this question might have already been asked, but what I sense is that some of these meetings would be in person, like the talks would be in person. Am I getting that right?
In normal times, yes. In current times,
not right
no.
now.
Not right
Perfect.
now.
Perfect. That's what I was kind of freaked out about, to be honest.
Right. No. We like for you guys, for us, because of Yale's rules, because of everybody's rules, and also because we have an older audience. No, not this season.
That makes sense.
Yes, you'll see in a lot of our documents, a lot of our documents are geared towards normal times where we are, in fact, in person.
Got it. Thank you.
But yes, no, we're not gonna, no. We're not putting you in front of anybody.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
So are we maybe able to use the fact that it's on Zoom to broaden our audience instead of going through libraries?
Somebody want to take that one?
Like breakout rooms. Yeah, we've been wanting to do that especially because libraries typically in this area, you're getting a certain audience, and we'd like to expand upon that to like community colleges, prisons, churches. And right now we mostly been trying to get the ship afloat and working in strange times, and like haven't prioritized as much those things. But like if that's something y'all are passionate about, like we can do that, and we would love to do that, especially as you're saying, like there are less constraints physically about going places. So
it's sort of an opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
So do you guys have a social media person that can maybe relay some of these events through the Twitter sphere, Instagram, Facebook? That, I mean, because that's kind of where people now go for like information for anything. So do you guys have someone that's in charge of that in your group?
Do you want to take that one?
Have social media. I can post it here. Let me find out all the social media. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, Twitter. So actually, that's how once all your talks are scheduled, we're gonna promote through those venues. But also, we're thinking like in the meantime, we can use it to reach out other communities. That's definitely the thing we're working on right now.
Yeah, so we're currently in the process of expanding our digital presence and expanding our venues. So we have multiple social media platforms, we have a website, but we're also in the process of, and we'd love to collaborate with all of you on expanding sort of our audience so that we can reach different segments of society and sort of increase our impactfulness as an organization. So that is in the works.
So I just have a suggestion. Do you maybe you guys can work with other community-based groups at Yale? So, for example, like I'm part of EDI, which is the Asian Network at Yale. There's obviously other organizations geared towards specific communities, but I think if you were to work alongside some of those communities, you'd be able to utilize their networking and their audience as a way to kind of expand yours. Might be a faster way to kind of expand your audience is by working through other groups that already have a little bit more of a diverse group of people involved.
Yes, that is an excellent suggestion, and we are doing that. So because we have literally started this organization from the ground, that has not been one of our priorities, but now that we have all of you and we have all of you in groups and we are getting this started, that is moving to the top of the list. But yes, thank you for the suggestion.
So I noticed as well, I think Jessica just posted something in the chat as well. So this would be, since the chat will leave when we're done here, this would be a great place for Slack. If y'all have like ideas, just post them in general for now of like connections that y'all have or places we can go. I think just so that's like some place that's saved and then we know who to associate with that so that we can think about that long term, just so it's there permanently. Thank you.